Hello, I am Cher, and this is Diary of a Pen Nerd. As part of my introduction series, I thought it would be interesting to swatch and give a quick review of every bottled ink I own. And I'll be doing them chronologically in order of when I got them, so this will serve as kind of like a record of my ink collection as it stands right now and also how I got here. So let's get right into it. For my swatching materials, I have one sheet of loose leaf Tomoe River paper. I've got my dip pen and rest. It's so pretty. Look at that. And then it's black, and then it's sparkle. Black, sparkle. It's really cool. And then it's a little pen rest, a paintbrush, a paper towel, and a cup of water. So, let's begin. All right, voiceover Cher here. And the first ink in our collection is Noodler's 54th Massachusetts, which is a really beautiful dark blue-black ink with just a little bit of a sheen on the right paper. It's a massive bottle that I received as a Christmas gift back in 2021. It was the first time I had ever asked for anything fountain pen related, and I was so nervous, but I got it, and it's been a wonderful journey ever since. So Noodler's 54th Massachusetts, I find, can either be a really wet ink or a really dry ink depending on the pen that it's in, and there's very little in between. Next up, we have Ferris Wheel Press Peter Moss, which I got in April 2022, also as a gift. I really love this ink. It's this dark, mossy green with a little bit of a black sheen to it, and it shades really nice even on cheap paper, and is just all around an excellent ink. If I had to pick a favorite ink in my collection, this one is definitely in the running. It's a 38 ml bottle that I am currently trying to use up. I set a goal for myself this year that I wanted to use up a bottle of ink, and I chose this one because it's one that I think I could just write and write and write with and never get sick of. So I'm currently doing just that. So that's Ferris Wheel Press Peter Moss. The next ink we have is one that I bought, my first ever ink that I bought, which was in October of 2022. This was an ink that I had wanted for a while and was waiting for it to restock, and when it finally did, I bought it, and that is Ferris Wheel Press Steeped Umber, which is a really nice light brown, kind of a tea-ish color. If I had to imagine what writing with tea would be like, this ink comes to mind. I did expect it to be a little bit darker, and so in fine pens, sometimes it's not my favorite, but I do like it better in a broad pen, and I think it's a really beautiful ink, and it's the first one that I ever bought for myself, so that was really exciting for me. The next ink I bought at the same time as Ferris Wheel Press Steeped Umber, and this is Ferris Wheel Press Blushing Mushroom. At the time, I was just really obsessed with Ferris Wheel Press, and this ink definitely did not disappoint me. It's this moody, stormy, bluish lavender with a gorgeous rose gold shimmer. It took me a really long time to have a pen that I could use this ink in without it clogging, but once I did, I used it quite frequently, and I also loved to paint with it. It's a smaller bottle, it's only 20 mils. I like that it kind of looks like a little potion bottle. I think that's really cute. But I've had a really good time with this ink, and again, favorite ink in my collection, this one is definitely a contender. Next we have Private Reserve DC Super Show Blue, which I received as a Christmas gift in 2022. It's a gorgeous, rich, vibrant, deep, true blue with a little bit of a red sheen, and it's just a workhorse ink in that it works well in every single pen I've ever used it in, and it's just very rich, flowing, and juicy and wet. It is the biggest, or the second biggest bottle of ink I own, with the Noodler's bottle coming in first, and it is just a lovely ink to write with and to use and to enjoy. Next, I received 4 different inks from Monteverde, the first being this Yosemite green, which is just this beautiful, rich, dark green with just a hint of red sheen. And these were also all Christmas presents that same year. This is a 30 ml bottle. It's really beautiful. It does tend to be a little bit dry, so I like putting it in some of my wetter pens for that reason. But it's just a gorgeous ink, and it's really like just like Private Reserve, a workhorse ink, and definitely another one that my collection would just not be complete without. Another Monteverde ink. Now we have Valentine Red, which was also a gift. This one is a really nice true red. I think it leans a little bit too orange for my personal taste. I like my my red inks to lean more blue, if that makes sense. But it is still a really nice ink, and I've had no problems with it in the pens that I've used it in. It writes well, it's very vibrant, very beautiful, and overall just a really solid ink. Next we have another Monteverde ink, Malibu Blue. And in the swatch, it looks a lot darker than it actually is when you write with it. It turns out to be this really soft, beachy, cloud-looking ink that I think honestly works really good both for Christmas and for summer. But it was also a Christmas gift, a 30 ml bottle, and this is actually one of my favorite inks in my entire collection. I love this one. And now for the last Monteverde ink. This one is Document Blue, or Blue Document ink. I'm pretty sure that means that it's supposed to be like more permanent or light fast or waterproof or something like that. I really haven't checked or tested or looked it up or anything, but I think that's what it is. And it's just another true blue that is not quite as rich as Private Reserve DC Super Show Blue, but it's still a really solid writer and still looks really nice. And I actually have 2 bottles of it. I was given 2 bottles by accident, and that's okay. It's more ink for me. And now we take a massive jump in time from December 2022 to November 2023. This was my fountain pen day purchase, and I got the Dominant Industries Arizona Sky Citrus and Arizona Sky Crimson. This is citrus, and it's this really bright, fun orange color. It shades really well and is just overall a beautiful color. It does tend to be a little bit on the drier side, so you do need to make sure you use it in a wet pen, but other than that, it's just lovely. And then we have Arizona Sky Crimson, which is a beautiful dark berry shade with a little bit of black shading. It's not quite a sheen, but it does show up and it's very beautiful. This one as well is a drier ink, but if you put it in a wet pen, it works beautifully. And this is probably one of my top favorite inks of my collection, in that it is just so beautiful and works so well. And more from my fountain pen day purchase, I also got this cute little bottle of Ferris Wheel Press Brilliant Beanstalk, and it is just, it's a really beautiful ink. I personally really love green inks just in general, but it's a light sagey green color with a gorgeous champagne shimmer that just is a joy to write with. It is the shimmer, so you have to make sure that you're using it in a pen that's not going to clog, but if you're using it in a good enough pen, then you really won't have very much problems with it. It's such a fine shimmer and it just writes really beautifully. And then the last ink from my fountain pen day purchase, this is Sailor Yurameku Amamoyoi. I saw this in someone's ink collection video and I fell in love with it, and it was on my wish list for quite a while, and so when I was making my fountain pen day purchase, I was sure to pick up a bottle, and this one surely did not disappoint. It's this beigey color that shades like green and pink, which is so unique and special and is just so much fun to write with, especially in a broad pen on good paper where all of those shades really do come out. Next up, we have Diamine Cozy Up. I had a sample of this and I really loved it, so I asked for a bottle for Christmas. And I have been enjoying it ever since. I pretty much always have a pen inked up with it. I love the color. To me, it's a what I would consider to be like a dark pink. It writes well in every pen that I've put it in, and it's just overall very beautiful and what I would consider to be a more unique color. And then we have Diamine One More Sleep, and I actually thought this was purple, so I was quite surprised when it was yet another blue, but it is such a beautiful blue. It reminds me of a cloud on a winter's day, in that it just feels so soft and calming and relaxing, and it writes well. It's a very wet ink, and I have no problems with it. I think it's beautiful. And these are both 50 ml bottles, so they are quite massive, and I will be spending quite a lot of time with these bottles. Goodbye for now. Love, share.